Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of our new Teammates series. Joining us today, we have two players from the first team, midfielder Danby Griffiths and winger Sarah Danby. Hi, ladies. How are you doing?
Morning, Jack. You all right?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, yourself?
Yeah, good. Cheers.
How are you keeping in lockdown number 3?
Getting there. Just hoping for obviously football to come back. So just waiting on the announcement, but otherwise, just same old, I guess.
Right, so the fans have been sending in their questions for you. So let's get straight to it. First one is that it's been a great season so far for the team. What would you say the main difference has been compared to previous seasons?
I think this year we've found a way to just grind out results and, find a way to get through tricky patches in games and come out on the winning side of things, which in previous seasons has been quite a difficult thing for us. Games where we've had to be scrappy and fight for the victory, we've not managed to do that. And then we've had quite a lot of losses in the season. But this year, I think it's been a lot different because we've been able to grind results out, which has got us more points on the board. So I think that's probably one of the main things.
Yeah, and just team cohesion. I think this season it's kind of been a fresh start for everybody. I think that just the morale's been boosted and it seems to be working. We're really working hard for each other, and I think it's clearly shown in the results that we've managed to get this season so far.
What would you say the toughest team you've played this season?
We spoke that earlier, and we actually think it was probably West Brom this season. They always throw a challenge at us of, I suppose, the strength side of the game. And that was probably one of our best results because we had to work so hard for it, and the conditions were awful, weren't they? And they were very difficult to break down. I'd say they're very strong. So I think in terms of the toughest game that we've had, I think we both agreed it was probably West Brom. I think in terms of a football and ability side, I think you're probably looking at more like Forest. We haven't played Derby yet, but I imagine they'll be very similar, and Fylde are probably the top sort of 3 competitors. But in terms of difficulty of games, we both said West Brom, didn't we?
Yeah, and I think as well in terms of the cup game, I think we were taken a bit by surprise by the Liverpool Feds game. Not because we thought we would turn up and be the better team, but I think they brought a lot more than what we were expecting and taking us to the end of extra time, and what could have easily been penalties, or they could have easily come out on top when the full game is considered. But I think that was also a lot tougher than we thought, which is normal, I guess, for cup games because anybody can beat anybody in that kind of situation. But definitely probably West Brom so far.
What would you say the best performance has been, both as a squad and then, of course, for you guys individually as well?
I think in terms of result, probably beating Forest, because at the time we were the top 2, and I think it's from last year we felt like we had 2 harsh results against them where we should have done better than we did, and obviously they've been pushing the squad and things quite a lot on their social media, so there was quite a lot of hype around Forest at the start of this year. And I think for us to beat them in the circumstances at the time, obviously they'd fallen a bit behind now in the league, but for us that was a massive result at the time because
it gave us the way we won it as well, wasn't it? It was sort of a last minute winner, so I think we had the excitement of that as well. So again, it was a really hard game that we managed to win right at the end, which always feels better when you score right at the end of a game naturally. So I think performance-wise, in terms of the best, I mean, I've said it all season, the best we've played is in the most slick performance for us was the Sunderland game, because again, they're I would say one of the best teams in the league. I think again they've slipped behind a little bit this season, but the performance that we put in that day was. Everything looked like it came from the training ground. So for me, that was the best performance, but the Forest game by far now the best sort of result, I think.
And for you, Sarah, you scored a hat-trick against Stoke, if I'm correct. So for you, on like a personal and level, is that going to be your favourite win of the season so far?
It's a bit of a dubious hat-trick. Obviously, I was trying to claim it, and I think people were kind and let me have it. But that was a massive result for us, just because obviously we scored a lot of goals. And again, I think every team that we play, we're not sure sort of how they're going to come and how they're going to, because teams change as each season goes on. But obviously, I'm probably not going to get another hat-trick before I die. So yeah, I'll take that.
So a couple of weeks ago, we announced our decision regarding promotion. What are your thoughts amongst players?
I think for me personally, I think it's the right decision to not push for the promotion this year, mostly because of the uncertain circumstances anyway, with not knowing, is the season going to finish? You know, how are we going to finish it? What, are we going to be able to continue through the summer? And I think just there's so much work and so much preparation behind the application, and, you know, needing the financial support. I think it's probably the best decision to wait for that for the next year, when we can have a proper consistent season. And, you know, it would feel like more of an achievement if we were to do it under normal circumstances, rather than this stop-start season that we've had last year and then this year again.
I think if anything as well, it puts less pressure on if football resumes this season. Obviously, we're top of the league at the minute, but I think it puts less pressure on us to go and win it. I think we obviously want to win the league, but I think we can go with maybe that reduced pressure, and I think it'll potentially be a good thing for us this season. See where we finish this season, and then, like Lauren says, obviously, when the time's right, maybe next season will be better preparation for us.
I think it will be disappointing if we do win the league but we don't get promoted, because, I mean, there's a lot of players who've been at the club for so many years that the one thing that they want is to go up. And I think we're quite an ageing squad, which means like most of the players are probably not going to be there for many more years. So, I mean, if we did continue and we did win the league this year, I guess we take that as a building block for next year and give it another push, with hopefully the promotion drive behind us this time.
How are the team and yourselves training in this off period? And have you taken up any new sports in lockdown?
Running. That's probably about it in terms of new sports. I think it's been, you know, the club's still been putting Zoom sessions on and everything, but I think people have just had to sort of take responsibility for themselves and do what works for them. Obviously, everyone's in different circumstances. Some people are still working full time, other people are on furlough. You know, it's very hit and miss how people are sort of living their life at the minute. And I think everyone's just kind of done their own thing to a certain extent. And whatever works for them. And then I think obviously depending on the outcome of, you know, the FA and what they say is going to happen going forward, then collectively we'll go back and train together. But I mean, obviously, you know, we're currently living together at the moment, and, you know, we've been doing all sorts of different stuff, running. We've been going up to the field with the ball and just trying to keep as fit as we can on that level. And then it'll be, obviously it's different when you get back together, and each match fitness that will be lacking. But I think everyone's just been doing what works for them.
I think it would be, if we do find out the season's going to resume, then there will be more, I think, team-based things, maybe in small sessions, or, you know, more Zoom calls or whatever it will be closer to the time. But I think for now, with the uncertainty of what's going to happen, I think it's about people just maintaining a good level of fitness on their own to be best prepared for if that does happen.
I've just spent £30 on a running vest, so that sums it up.
It'll probably stay sitting on the table.
What are your individual goals, both whilst at town and in your career as a whole?
Do you want to go first?
I'll take the football one. So I think, well, for me personally, obviously I missed most of last season because I was injured. So personally, my goal for this year is just to hopefully get through the season and not be injured throughout it, and, you know, complete the season injury free and get back into my full match fitness, because I spent so much time out that for me that's my main immediate goal. But I do think we want to push and win the league regardless of promotion or no promotion, because it will give us the pride of, you know, being the best team in the league, and something that I think Town has deserved for so many years with having such a talented squad. So I think football goals, that's probably, I mean, the most obvious one, but that will be what most people's goal would be within the squad.
Yeah.
I think
for me personally, obviously I'm back on the wing now, and I personally don't feel like I contribute enough to goals. So that's always the forefront of my mind, is personally I want to be able to, you know, contribute more in that factor. But like Loz said, it's about winning the league. Obviously it's tough at the minute because we are top of the league, but we've got a lot of games yet to be played, and there's a lot of teams in and around us who are, you know, just as good, I would say, as us. So we're not getting ahead of ourselves by any means, but I think the fact that we are top of the league and the form that we have had, I think it would be wrong of us to not be sitting saying, you know, we think we're in a good position, we want to win the league. And I think in terms of career-wise with football, I think it would be good for us all to be able to, you know, in the next few years, if we could push for WSL football, then, you know, it's something that we'd all, I think, be wanting to do. I think for me, it's just about getting through each season and being fit again for the next one. Like I said, we you know, we're not getting any younger, but I think a lot of us are probably in the peak of our fitness, if I'm being totally honest. So it's just about get as many years as we can. I think people think that we'll play till
You will.
I'll play till I can't walk anymore.
I think another thing as well is the cup, because obviously we had the job. We had a really good run, not last season but the season before in the cup, and then last year we had the games at the John Smith Stadium, which was obviously a mass. I didn't get to take part, but it was such a great experience for the club, and I think we would be so disappointed if we weren't allowed to continue on the FA Cup run that we've started. So I think the league aside, I think sometimes the cup brings about more excitement of the opportunity of playing against, you know, better opposition and the travel involved, and, you know, potentially go into these like WSL grounds and things like that. So hopefully we'll resume both the league and the cup and get to continue with that.
How important is the relationship with the men's team?
Yeah, I think when you do look at the WSL clubs, 9 times out of 10, the relationship with the men's squad is very strong, especially when you look at WSL 1 teams. Sort of the likes of City, Chelsea, Arsenal, it's absolutely, you know, the bonded as one. And I think it's small steps for us with Town to get to that position. I think if we could slowly get there, then we do need that. I think if we're going to have any sort of hopes of promotion or anything like that, we do need the backing of the men, but we appreciate, especially in these times, it's very difficult. No fans or anything, that's where all the revenue comes from. It's hard one way, you know, going to them saying, can we have this, can we have that? But the reality at the minute is, you know, that we're now training at Canal Side. Well, we were prior to lockdown training at Canal Side, which is massive for us, for expense and just for facilities as well. And to feel part of Huddersfield Town, that's a big step for us. Obviously the kit and stuff, I know they provide all of that for us, which, I mean, we've got, I think, 40 odd players playing for Huddersfield women, and to provide 2 full away and home kits, it's a massive expenditure. We've got to sort of purchase that ourselves. So we're closing the bridge, I think, with the men, but we do need to sort of chip away at that if we can, but it's obviously unprecedented times at the minute, so it's just, we have to appreciate that as well.